Hello everybody, welcome back to another Expeditions Guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at River Cruise. This is an expedition in the Tatras region. This expedition is unlocked after completed flooded roads, and we're going to be using the Kelpie. And the reason for this is a water mission, and we're going to be using the Kelpie because it is an amphibious vehicle, which is going to make our jobs a lot easier. So if you have any questions about my vehicle loadout, you'll find that in the description below. So, let's talk a little bit about what we're doing. So, we're going to be starting from the field operations base and making our way over to this waypoint over here, which is going to activate this boat over here. What we're going to do with the boat is pull it across the water over to this waypoint, and then over to this waypoint, and then over in this area, and then we're going to bring it all the way down here, and then take the boat back up over here. So, that's what we're going to be doing. So, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how it's done. So, I should warn you, the Kelpie is a weird vehicle to drive. It is just kind of wobbly, but it is the most effective vehicle for these water-based expeditions. And it's kind of fun. It's just a little wonky to drive sometimes. It's very quick on the steering and then slow at the same time. It's very strange. You can see me. I'm going to be kind of fighting with it a little bit here, trying to get where we're trying to go, but we're going to go right over this hill and into this puddle of water here. Just going to go right across the water. And around these sticks. And up over across the water here. And from here we're going to go around these trees. And we're going to go all the way up and around the back side of these rocks here. And that's going to take us up and over the hill. And then we're going to head right on down into the archway. We're going to go right through this archway here. Once we get through the archway, we're going to head to the right and kind of follow the river. We're just going to follow this river all the way down to our waypoint. The really nice thing about this vehicle is when you're going over the water, I'm kind of stuck on this tree right now, but when you're going through the water, the vehicle just kind of floats on the surface, which does lead to some interesting interactions on some of this shallower water, but just has a hard time steering sometimes. But it is going to make moving this boat around an absolute cakewalk by being able to just drive through the water to get from point A to point B and so on. So we're going to get this little cinematic that is going to show us the boat right over here. And that is our target. So we're going to go ahead and head on over to the boat and take it over to the first waypoint. There it is. Just hook it up with your winch and set sail, and that is exactly what we're going to do. But first we have to get to the boat. So because we have the amphibious vehicle, we are going to just kind of dive right on into the water here. And we're just going to kind of head this way because it's going to be a little easier to grab the boat and get it pointed in the right direction by going around this little island here. And as you can see, we are just completely floating in the water here. And what you can actually do is set your tire pressures a little bit lower, and that is going to give you some more speed in the water. So, turning your tire pressures down. If you turn them down all the way, it does cause some just random damage to the vehicle. So when I'm doing these, I like to set it in the middle pressure range, just to get a little bit more speed and just a little bit more capability in the water here. So it's also going to prevent the vehicle from damaging the tires as we go. So what we're going to do is back right on up to the boat here and go ahead and activate our winch. And we're going to go ahead and just grab this middle point right on the boat here, which is going to allow us to just pull it right behind us here. And I like to keep a tight winch on the boat while we're moving it around, just so that it makes it so it doesn't get caught on the trees and stuff like that, because we're going to be pulling this thing in between trees and stuff like that. But you don't have to be worried about pulling the boat over the land. It does just pull itself over some of this land a little bit here, so you do not have to be concerned about that. You can see the Kelpie is kind of pulling us off to the left there when we want to try to stay to the right here. Just has some weird interactions sometimes, but we're going to go ahead and pull the boat into this first waypoint. And once we do that, we're going to go ahead and just disconnect from the barge and go ahead and get turned around. We're going to go ahead and just pull over to the front of the boat here. And same thing as before, we're going to use the winch and just hook up to this middle waypoint here. And pull the boat a little closer. And back out the way we came. We're just going to go ahead and head on off to the left here. Try to get the vehicle pointed the right direction. We're going to squeeze right in between those trees and the rock there. So this is another one of those tight spots. That's why I try to keep the boat pulled as close to the vehicle as we can, so we can kind of go up on this rock just a little bit here to give it some extra clearance on the tree. And you can see it just kind of squeezes right through there. So once we get through here, we got to go around these trees over here. So we're going to kind of back up, point the truck in the right direction. If it will stop floating in other random directions, that'd be nice. But this vehicle has a mind of its own sometimes, but as you can see, it is very, very effective at what it does, which is floating on water for pulling boats and stuff. So it is an incredible vehicle asset to add to the fleet. Makes it perfect for crossing large bodies of water without having to necessarily find the safe passage across. You can just kind of jump in there and float across water if you wanted to. So we're going to go ahead and just hit this waypoint over here. And we're going to get the boat over here, and we're going to go ahead and disconnect it. Alright, so what we're going to do now is just go ahead and get to the other side of the boat here. And once we get to the back of the boat, we're going to just back right up to it. And just like before, we're going to go ahead and attach the winch point to the center of the boat. And then we can pull it forward. So with the boat in tow, we're going to head off to the left here. And we're just going to go right in between these trees here. We're just going to follow the water here. And then kind of head to the right here. Up and over this little bit of landmass. As you can see, this thing really likes to dart around, especially when you have the boat as kind of an anchor point. It really just swings the vehicle around. It is It is a very heavy boat, and the Kelpie is a very light vehicle, so a lot of times when you get into these sections where you're like kind of on land, kind of not on land, it does just kind of grab the vehicle and just swing it around a little bit. It's makes for some interesting interactions, that's for sure. Once we get through here, we're going to go around all these trees and make our way over to the next waypoint, which is right next to us here. Back up, get ourselves angled right, and then just pull the boat right on over here. We're just going to pull it through here and right in between these trees. And then from here, we're going to pull it downriver, just straight south here. And since we're kind of on the more open water, I'm going to go ahead and turn these tire pressures all the way down, which is going to give us a lot of speed coming through here. Boat's kind of messing with my camera a little bit. I like to stay a little bit more zoomed out, following the vehicle behind, so it's a little easier to see where we're going, but this boat does not want to behave. Just kind of moves the camera around a little bit too much. But all we're doing right now is just kind of following the water down and around. We do have a lot of trees here that we're going to have to navigate around. So you can kind of squeeze through the trees there. But I'm just going to take a nice wider arc here and kind of squeeze through this way, which is just going to give us a little bit more maneuvering room for the boat. Just kind of pull it right on through here. And right on over to our next waypoint. What I'm going to do now is we're going to disconnect from the boat and get on over to the front of the boat. All spots treated, you can leave the barge at the coordinates set up. So that is exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to go right on over to the front of the boat here. And just like last time, we're going to grab the winch and hook on to the front of the boat and pull it on out of here. So once we get clear of these trees, we're going to head north, upriver. Kind of navigating through these trees, and then we're going to go right across the river here. It's kind of fitting that it's raining right now. We're trying to move a boat across the river. I just think that's neat. Alright, so we are getting into a little bit more land-based territory here, so we're going to go ahead and put those tire pressures back on medium. So we need to squeeze the boat right through these trees here. So make sure it's clear of that first tree, and then we can just kind of pull it right through the middle here. And there's our final waypoint where we need to park the boat. So we're just going to drive straight on over there. There's a bit of land here we got to drive over, but it's no problem pulling the boat over this. Just need to make sure it's clear of the trees. And then from here we're going to go right up this makeshift boat landing here. Right on up. And there you go. That is going to complete River Cruise. And that is going to unlock the high mount snorkel for the Sheba Dart. So I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Let me know what you think. And until next time, I'll see you in the wilds. Bye-bye.